This is The View from Halfway Down, an episode-by-episode analysis of the Netflix original series Bojack Horseman.
That's Sebastian. They're the Bojack Horseman expert.
And that's Alexandra. She's the expert on being pretentious.
We try to avoid character and plot spoilers on the show, but minor things are bound to slip by. And of course, this is going to contain major spoilers up to the current episode, which is...
Today's episode is Season 1, Episode 10, One Trick Pony.
Oh man, what a little episode. It feels weird, actually. It feels like it felt very chaotic for me, even though it's like there are only a couple things are happening. Which is they're filming the stealing of the D, which Bojack is starring as Mr. Peanutbutter. And then we have the reveal about Diane's book writing about him. And it's just kind of like a mess. It's kind of all over the place.
I feel like all like the name switching throughout the whole thing makes it feel way more chaotic.
Yeah, and the fact that the script is like changing before our eyes, which is a very fun bit.
It was pretty funny. I think I would like to say that if Quentin Tarantino ever actually did release a curated snack box, I would 100% buy it.
I feel like that entire subplot was criticizing that urge and the fact that you would buy that.
Yeah. Well, I would, but I would do it in like a satirical way.
Okay.
I'm not buying.
That's the same consequence, right?
I'm not buying the Quentin Tarantino curated snack box in like the normal kind of way. I'm buying it in like a quirky girl satirical way. Okay.
Right. Of course.
It's different.
Which is revolutionary and rebellious and subverts the status quo. Yeah, exactly. That's what they don't want you to do.
I'm like a socialist, and that's why I'm buying this curated snack box.
This product. This episode is brought to you by Quentin Tarantino's curated box of snacks. Okay. So we open and so the first thing we're shown is the very confusing character switch up. So Bojack is playing Mr. Peanutbutter. Diane is being played by Naomi Watts. Wallace Shawn, is that his name?
Yes. Yeah.
He plays the
he's playing Bojack.
Yeah, he's playing Bojack. That's the guy in the
Princess Bride.
Bride who gets poisoned. Because he's really smart. What wonderful scene. And he's very upset to be playing a horse. He's just got like a really terrible horse costume. It's just fascinating.
Okay. I have something to talk about this. Okay. Firstly, this is important, but Naomi Watts and Wallace Shawn are both playing themselves in this episode.
I love that for them.
Yeah, it's great.
Who knows? This might be their big break.
Shut up.
I'm going to say that every time there's a celebrity on the show, which is all the time.
But yeah, so there's that bit with them making fun of like Wallace Shawn like being obsessed with Rothko paintings, which is really funny. And I was trying to look that up to see if there was any like relevance, and I'm pretty sure it was completely random. But in that search, I found something very funny. Basically, it was a picture that a cosplayer took where they dressed up as Wallace Shawn, dressed up as Bojack in that horrible costume. And they painted their own black and blue number 7 Rothko painting and gave it to him and took a picture with him. And apparently he got the joke immediately and loved it. And he looks absolutely delighted in the picture. And I will be sending that out in the Discord, by the way.
That is such an obscure cosplay to do. That's amazing.
It's great. I found it on Reddit and a lot of people were commenting and they were like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's one episode. This is not going to come back, I'm pretty sure, right? There's no way, right?
No, I don't think so.
That's incredible. Well, hats off to them, I guess. That's the first time I've ever said hats off, by the way. I don't know why I said it. Just felt right, I guess. But okay. And it gets very confusing on the show with the name switching.
Yeah, it's
Quentin Tarantino has insisted that everyone basically be role-playing their characters. Role-playing is not the right term. Method acting their characters all the time, which is not only Naomi Watts is doing it. And it's very, very confusing, especially considering like Mr. Peanutbutter is also there and he's not like he's not playing a character, right? So like there's another layer of like, oh, there's like real people too, and we're not using character names for them. That's just anyway, it's a lot. But it's very
and then there's a
chaotic
scene where
setting.
somebody was like looking for actual peanut butter. They were like,
no,
they're like, where's peanut butter? And he was like, oh, you mean Bojack? He's like, if I wanted Bojack, or no, peanut butter. Mr. Peanut Butter was like, oh, I'm here, and he was like, no, and he's like, oh, you mean Bojack? He's like, why would I want Bojack? I want peanut butter.
And then Sean Wallace goes in, and did someone say Bojack? Anyway, it's good. A lot of the show takes place around the catering table, which Diane is being denied to by a crocodile, because she's not part of cast and crew. We find out that she was like viciously bullied in high school. She was stuffed into a locker and then
called a virgin whore or something like that.
It was a virgin slut was written on her head, and then they made her eat a lipstick. Not just like a tube of lipstick, like a lipstick.
Oh, those are just girl things.
Just the girly things.
Just girl things. That's like what us girls get up to at sleepovers and stuff, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Just how it goes.
My favorite bit that happens around the catering table is when Bojack is getting stuff for his coffee and just like getting snacks in general. He grabs the entire bowl of sugar cubes for himself. Like they're made to put into your coffee, but he's a horse. So I was wondering why you were silent so long.
I saw that. I don't even think I saw it.
Yeah, it was good. It was very, very minor. I had like happened to pause at that moment. Bojack and Diane are finally like talking again after the wedding. They say it's like first day of school again, and that's when Diane gives her little aside. Bojack talks about the people that he's dating, which were mostly waitresses, I guess. Or not dating, he just met them at the restaurant.
Well, 2 waitresses and then the hooker that wanted to be a waitress.
At P.F. Chang's, which is relevant. I'm going to bring that up later. That he had a date with a hooker at P.F. Chang's. So you have written down here, why would I settle down? I'm 50.
Yeah, I feel like whenever he said that, it was in like a sense of like realization. Like as soon as it came out of his mouth, he was like he said it as like, oh, I'm 50. Like, and 50 is not that old. But it definitely is a very reasonable age to settle down. I feel like that's probably, I'm definitely going to have a day where I wake up feeling the same way, where I'm just like, I don't know, somebody, I don't know, like if I got pregnant or something and I was like 45, I'd be like, what? That's crazy. I can't have a baby. I'm like a teenager. And I'd be like, well, wait.
I'm just a little guy. I'm just a itty bitty little baby. Naomi is trying to take character notes from Diane. It's also great because she keeps referring to Diane, the character, as like an empty-headed, like nothing character, and I don't think Diane really likes that. But Naomi like trying to copy and understand Diane is like really funny and creepy throughout the whole episode. And she also like makes fun of Diane all the time without realizing it.
Yeah, they made Naomi Watts kind of a bitch, which is funny because like,
and a heartbreaker.
I don't know too much about Naomi Watts, but I feel like she's like relatively cool for like a celebrity. Like from what I've found out about her, and also just a lot of the people that they have on this show seem to be like pretty cool. So I don't know. I think it's funny, like, because she's playing herself. Like the whole time I was like, it seems like they're making fun of Naomi Watts, but it's being played by Naomi Watts. So it was all in good fun. But
right. Yeah. Naomi asked Diane about her wedding, and Diane replies that it's kind of like it was a happy ending. It was the happiest day of her life, but now it's the day after. What does that say about the days after? Which is, it's concerning, kind of a bummer to think about it that way. It reminds me of the whole life is a series of closing doors from last episode. Where it's like, the happiest day is now behind you.
Well, you know, that makes me think a lot about, not to be so intense here, but heroin. Okay. You know, here's the thing. I will never do heroin because somebody told me, they were like, heroin is going to give you the best feeling possible, and that will be the worst possible thing to ever happen to you. Because if you have felt the best possible thing, then that's all. Like, nothing else, nothing that you can possibly do or work towards is ever going to amount to that.
I mean,
so why would you, like, and doing heroin is so much easier than, like, doing a lot of things that would get you close to the amount of happiness, you know? So it's like, you're just bound to do heroin again, you know?
Yeah. I was gonna say, I mean, I totally do completely agree, especially in praxis. But there, I mean, theoretically, there might be something that does feel better, and that's just more heroin. So you do have to consider that. You just keep that in the back of your head.
So smart. I feel like an idiot right now. You're so smart.
Exactly. That said, I do plan to, when I'm on my deathbed, to just ask for a nice little going away sedative.
I've definitely thought about that. Like, one of my first instincts whenever somebody asks me, like, oh, what would you do if you had like a year left to live? I'm just like, drugs. What do you mean? Like, what else? What else am I supposed to do?
Fair enough. What else are you supposed to do?
Yeah,
I don't know. Anyways, that's some fun stuff to think about. Todd is very hostile toward Bojack this whole episode because he knows now that Bojack has sabotaged him. Bojack is not, like, admitting it, at least for a while, even though he knows why Todd is being so hostile, because Todd is being, like, incredibly, like, just overtly passive aggressive about it.
Yeah, and Bojack convinces himself that Todd is, like, sabotaging him and, like, punishing him, which we find out is not what's happening at all, which is kind of interesting because that really goes to show either how little he knows about Todd or just how paranoid he is, or a combination of the two.
But. Yeah. That said, I do think Todd, at least that one time when he was next to Bojack and being passive aggressive, and then Quentin Tarantino came up and asked for more suggestions, and then Todd just, like, goes off about, yeah, let's make Bojack, the Bojack character, just awful and just really, really suck. And just everyone, we just need something to root against. Like, okay, Todd, you may not realize that that's because you're mad, but it was because you're mad.
Yeah.
That said, maybe there still is a distinction of that wasn't intended as sabotage. That's just him being angry. Rather, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I think it's like one of those cases that we've discussed before of just like they're a little bit too oblivious to completely understand their feelings and to know that they're acting out and being shitty because of this. They just think that they're doing what they're doing. And it's like it brings up that question of, like, is it, like, better or worse to not realize you're being an asshole, but you're being an asshole, or to know you're being an asshole and continue being an asshole, you know? Yeah.
Yes. That said, I totally do approve of the changes that Todd is bringing to the script. The first one, Todd said feminism. He's like, what if the Diane character was, like, a real character and, like, mattered? And then
Naomi Watts is like, God damn it.
Yeah, which I find great. Like, Naomi just wanted to be like a bimbo, and that's her right, you know. Yes. I would like to update the millennials that listen to this podcast on the bimbo movement on TikTok. Would you like to?
We should cover that.
Yeah. Because this is also a Gen Z sort of newscast for the older folks.
They're gonna hate that. Everyone's gonna be up in the Discord talking about this. I feel like I'm walking on eggshells around you guys. Okay,
yeah. Old people are so sensitive,
right? Yep. God, like 30-year-olds. Goodness.
We're kidding, y'all. We're kidding. That said, so on TikTok especially, but it's in other places as well, there is a sort of it's like a sort of cultural joke to pretend to be a dumb bimbo, like in the, like, anti-feminist sense, of just, like, being airheaded that's, like, obsessed.
They're reclaiming it, you know?
Pretty, yeah. The best video I saw of it was basically like, men are going to assume that I'm stupid anyway. And I'm not stupid. I don't have to prove to them that I'm not stupid. So I'm going to be super girly and pretend that I'm dumb and, like, pretend I'm not listening to whatever they're saying, and just be obsessed with being pretty and stuff, except I'm not actually those things. It's just an aesthetic that I'm putting on, and I have control over that aesthetic, basically.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So Naomi has her right to be a bimbo.
I did that once to get somebody to buy and change oil in my car.
Mm-hmm.
One of my friends. I totally I know the exact type of oil that my car takes, and I know exactly how to put it in. I know where to buy it. I was perfectly capable of getting it, but I just I don't know. I was I would rather just chill at home, and I called somebody, and he drove an hour.
Oh my god. That's so manipulative.
Yeah,
That framing though, it's different. I think that's different from the thing I just said, because it's one is they're assuming that you're dumb. I feel if you were you would have asked for help, but if you had expressed knowledge, he would have mansplained anyway.
Oh no, yeah, he that. So I guess I should clarify. He's very right leaning and sheltered, definitely misogynistic, and definitely has mansplained. He'll ask me oh, so you know about this thing, and I'll be yes, and then he'll proceed to explain it to me, which is a very common thing. But yeah, so in this case and in this situation, which I guess I don't need to go into, but it was fair. I feel it was okay.
Okay. Well, I'm glad that you feel it was okay.
That's
all that really matters when you think about it.
Moral relativism, baby.
Yeah, so you actually put down a Naomi Watts quote related to that thing?
Yeah, because so this whole not wanting to play these three-dimensional characters anymore is she actually, at least at one point, did feel that way. And there's a quote from her where she is talking about, she was talking about how being able to do those really dumb roles is really just numbing to her, and that's good. Sometimes she just needs a break. And she was saying, there are times when I'm in a hotel room and need to be numbed. I keep saying to myself, oh God, I'm sick of playing these dark, harrowing roles. I want a big paycheck, so put me in some dumb romantic comedy any day.
Valid.
Yeah.
That's really valid.
Honestly, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I also want a big paycheck. So I get it.
Oh my gosh, we're 2 unemployed gals now.
Hey, I got an interview with Shake Shack tomorrow. It's so I feel so embarrassed about it. There's nothing wrong, of course, but it's just I've been job searching for so long. It's great, and now I'm gonna put on my little fucking Shake Shack uniform and just make people shakes and have to say company mandated lines. I wanted to be a cute independent barista. God damn it. You will
be. Yeah, I get that. I actually was having a conversation about this last night, where it's I've also had that similar feeling of having, especially if you had a really good job and then having to go back to doing things like that. It feels humiliating, and not necessarily because those jobs are humiliating. I feel people working those sort of jobs need to be very respected, because I have had some pretty swanky jobs, and I have never worked harder than I did in a kitchen, and I've never made less than I did in a kitchen. And yeah, I think that we feel humiliated because society treats us that way, and they see it that way.
Every mass corporation employee, especially front-facing employee, is just an exchangeable
which is
digit.
Horrible, because literally it's such hard work. It really is. So it's very fucked up.
Yeah, it's also, to me, it is a little bit the dehumanizing, putting on the uniform and everything. The fact that I can't be
human. An individual.
Yeah, Starbucks is as best as it can be, because it's okay, there's sort of an expectation of you're a coffee person. Coffee people can talk. They're allowed to talk. Shake Shack, any fast food kind of thing. No, you are the shake maker. That is all you do. You take orders and you give out shakes.
Yeah.
So fuck Shake Shack.
Yeah.
And I am not going to tell them that I have a podcast.
They just go listen to real quick. You just say fuck Shake Shack, man. Say so.
Yeah, their vetting process is thorough. Yes.
Okay, so I guess moving on from that.
I think the next bit, a little bit more on Naomi, actually. so at that point, Diane's like, the Diane character is, all complex, and Naomi's actually trying to understand Diane and stuff, and like keeps talking down to her, and it's great. Do we move our hands like this? We're so weird. Like,
she got like really existential at that one point too, and then like capped that off with being like, "Are we a Sprite or a 7-Up girl?" I was like, I'm gonna kill myself right now.
Yeah. But I thought there was a little moment that was great. So she approaches Diane, and Diane is very annoyed by it. And Diane just wants her to go away, right? And Diane says, "You see that guy?" Pointing at Bojack. Diane just talks to him all day, and that's it. No one else. And then Naomi goes, "Oh, because Diane doesn't talk to Diane?" And Diane's like, "Yeah, Diane talks to everyone else." And then Naomi goes and like has an affair with Bojack as Diane and Mr. Peanutbutter. So it's
okay, yeah, I was gonna say, I wasn't sure. I feel like they left it kind of ambiguous whether or not Diane was implying that Diane would want to talk to Bojack or Mr. Peanutbutter. It was kind of weird because they specifically, like, she did not say go talk to Bojack or go talk to Peanutbutter.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And the fact that like Naomi as Diane is having sex with Bojack as Mr. Peanutbutter, it's just, there's a lot of layers to that. It's like Naomi kind of does really understand Diane in that sense. That said, okay, so is Naomi as Diane having sex with Mr. Peanutbutter or Bojack Horseman?
I don't know. I was wondering the same thing. I guess she did have her whole little spiel where she was saying like no, like I didn't like fought. Like I think that she was supposed to be having the affair with Bojack. That's what I got from that little monologue I think you're right. She had.
Side note, Mr. Peanutbutter and Diane's bed is the sexiest bed I've ever seen. It's like this huge like circular bed with like these rims on it, so it feels like super fucking like
maybe it's supposed to be like a dog
comforting
bed.
Oh my god, it is. It is.
You're just describing a dog bed.
You're so right. Holy shit. It just needed more hearts, and it literally would be like
that does sound fucking wonderful.
Sex bed of my dreams.
It's like a nest.
It's a nest.
I would love a nest.
For dark acts of weird layered roleplay. Yeah. Anyway. I just wanted to mention that. I thought that was pretty important.
Yes.
So the next thing you have written down here is Turtle Tub took so long to get his Babel, LOL.
Yeah, well there's
cool.
There's like a scene where they're shooting outside and Turtle Top is like, oh, like where's the like food service? Todd tells him where it is. He's like, all right, I'm gonna go grab myself like a quick snack. And he starts walking, and then like a pretty decent amount of time like later in the episode where like they're already done outside, several things have happened, like it seems like half the day has gone by, and then you see him in the kitchen. He's like, well, I got my bagel, and then he turns around and he's like, time to get back to work. And I was like, and that is funny because I actually wrote our animal fact of the day before watching the episode, and it is about a turtle.
Wow.
So
it's how topical.
Funny. Yeah.
I feel like you should just hire someone to carry him around or something. Like,
honestly, yes. Or be in like one of those little scooters.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I feel like it's kind of ableist to assume that he could just like get wherever immediately. Like, yeah,
maybe the catering people should just bring food to him.
That's right. Yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah.
Okay, so before we get to the final, like the big emotional moment of the episode, I do want to talk about like the entire B plot where Todd has like gained control of the entire film because he's got the ear of Quentin Tarantino, and it turns from a dumb romantic comedy, then a romantic drama with the Diane character being extremely deep and the Mr. Peanutbutter character just saying true dat. Does Mr. Peanutbutter say true dat?
I don't think so. They started doing that whenever they decided to make Bojack very like two-dimensional.
Yeah.
So he just said true dat to everything.
Then it gets turned into it takes place in outer space, of course. Because Todd loves outer space, I guess. And then at that point, it transitions. We also should see a snapshot of the script where someone gets turned into a disembodied orb of light as part of the script. I just like, I want to see this movie.
Oh yeah.
But it never got made because they walk away and they're like, I feel like it's more of a freestanding art installation than it is, or a fully interactive social media experience than a movie.
It sounds horrible.
Yeah. And then, well, yeah, they completely agreed, which is why it's not that. Instead, it is a bi-monthly curated box of snacks.
Which, as we've discussed, is the symbol of communism.
Yes. You're right.
Yeah. I know.
Also, Mr. Peanutbutter totally does agree, which is surprising considering it's not wearing a V-neck, which is the one thing he focuses on the entire episode.
That's funny.
Yeah. Okay, so that's the funny stuff.
Yeah, now we get to the point where we find out that Diane has finished writing Bojack's book.
Mm-hmm.
And she's sent it in to the publisher. And the publisher is excited. He can finally get his kids back. That is so sad.
It's intense.
But yeah, so Bojack reached. I think Diane didn't want him to read it until it was released or something. And Bojack,
but she just seems really, really nervous about it. I think she does want him to read it, but yeah, she's like, keep an open mind because it's not going to be, I'm really proud of it, and it's not, the expected thing. So
yeah. And then he calls the publisher, and basically it's just like, yeah, let me see this book. He starts reading it, and he's not happy. We get to hear a few bits and pieces.
Oh, it's intense. It's an intense memoir.
Yes.
It's basically just all the dramatic moments of. It's everything we've talked about on the show, but into a book.
That's what I was thinking about. I was like, wait, we are Diane. We are writing this analysis about Bojack,
mm-hmm. And talking shit about him.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Bojack is a little bit upset about it. I did want to read a couple of the lines from it just because they were so good when there's his narration. The first serious one is he filled the air with words, terrified of silence, as one who is smart enough to recognize his many personal failings, but unwilling or unable to take the steps required to fix them. Which is just that is Bojack. That is who we've been talking about the past 10 episodes. Diane does understand him deeply, intimately.
Yeah. So following that quote, I'm pretty sure this is just the very end of the book, but just reads, she's basically just talking about whenever, after they met Herb, and I think it was before he kissed her, or I guess it could have been after, I don't know, but just at some point, at some point while he was standing and looking out at the water and stopped the car, and she says, and for a moment he said nothing, and that's the end of the book, which is great.
I think within the context of the other line, especially the terrified of silence.
Yeah, that's why I was trying to read them consecutively.
Yeah. It's heavy. It's a very heavy feeling book, I think.
Yeah, and it's great because I feel like so many people would just assume that Bojack is an asshole. And this doesn't try to hide the fact that he's an asshole, but it does add more depth to his character, and it brings out his complexities and makes them easier for other people to understand, which is something that so few people would ever have the opportunity to have,
Yeah. He gets really upset about it and confronts her and says he wants to fire her, and that it's never going to be published. He's going to make her write it again, which is just you're just angry, Bojack. But he's upset. He says it's she said, you wanted the full truth, warts and all. And he's like, this is just warts. Where's the all? And honestly, that's a little fair, especially when it's that's why you kind of don't mix friends and business, right?
Yeah, I am definitely wondering, and this is kind of our discussion question. This is our discussion question for today, but I guess, well, it's part of the discussion question, but was this a solid that Diane was doing for him, or is this just was this kind of shitty? And whenever I was watching it, I kind of felt like maybe Diane was being kind of shitty, but upon like talking about it now, I'm starting to feel like writing that book, maybe she saw that like there wasn't really a way for her to bullshit the book and make him seem great, but that this was like the second best thing to where like I said, she can be honest about his assholeness, but make it to where the world kind of understands him, which is honestly an amazing like gift to give somebody and would take a lot of patience and a lot of effort. And I feel like she had good intentions with it.
I agree. However, I do think there is definitely a motivator of artist pride that she did not. I don't think she could have written the dumb filler book and like felt good about it, you know?
Yeah.
Especially if she already had written down like a really excellent and deep, you know, character portrayal. And she feels proud of it. She, like, it was hard, it was deep. And I feel like Bojack, and the other factor is the fact that it's public, you know, rather than just like, hey, I wrote a book about you, it's just for you, read it and figure some shit out about yourself, rather than like, yeah, everyone listen to all of Bojack's deep dark secrets, etc. Like, yeah, it's fair if she does also release it publicly without like his consent, right?
Yeah, that was shit. That's also part of the discussion question of just like, was that okay to do? Because I don't think so. I think that was stemming from anger and spite and frustration, and what you were saying, artist pride. I don't think that was entirely just like, you know, to let him see that like people would like it. I think maybe a little bit, but that was more out of like just wanting to prove it to him rather than actually wanting to help him, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, the BuzzFeed article is negative. She texts her ex-boyfriend, and it's like a top 5 like ways that Bojack like sucks. And the first one is apple fritters, which is just like, I don't know, it's fascinating. I love, so everyone starts laughing at him outside. There's a guy who says, hold on, a guy with the wonderful like hick accent goes, "Look at his deep well of sadness. That's hilarious." Which is just like, damn, I don't know, that's biting deep. And Bojack says, "Don't look at me. I'm well adjusted. You all want my life," and then runs off.
That's a very Bojack thing to do.
Yeah. And trying to steal people's phones so that they can't look at the article.
He's like, the internet's broken. It's broken, guys. Sorry.
It's gone bad.
It's gone bad.
Yeah. And yeah, they have a final like confrontation again, where Bojack is like furious. You can really, really tell in his body language. You know, he says that he's upset about it. Diane starts to like be like, "Hey, look at these comments. Like, I feel like it was worth it." And she says like, "You have every right to be mad," which is good that she's like recognizes his feelings a little bit. But like, you could just tell that Bojack is just like fuming and hurt and like
he was
not
being
listening
a bit
at all.
Hysterical. Like, I think that it was just like a very, very like instantaneous rejection of this whole idea. Like, he wouldn't even give it a second thought. He was just like, nope, which is interesting.
Yeah. To be fair, she did just release it publicly and everyone did just laugh at him. So
yeah, that was not like a good way for that to start out.
Yeah. And additionally to what you were saying before about these complicated feelings, I think it's the feelings that Diane is like portraying as she talks about this is really interesting, because so she does a sort of apologize for posting it. So she feels bad about like doing something out of anger like that, right? And she feels guilty about it. However, she also does feel pride in her work, right? And she has that other justification of Bojack's own feelings. I don't know. There's just like a really complicated web going on there.
Yeah. I think that Diane is honestly going through a lot of things right now, and she kind of needs to get her shit together. I think she really needs to like take a sec, like just like maybe get out of LA and like really, really consider all these things. She needs to do some psychedelics. She needs to do some psychedelics and
she's got to get out of LA and do some psychedelics.
Yes.
Or is she doing psychedelics as a method of getting out of LA?
What?
like an out of body experience?
No.
What do you mean? What? Why would you say no that way? As if it was ridiculous. You just said she should do psychedelics, and I said she should do a thing that people do on psychedelics to feel away from their body. I'm sorry, was that so ridiculous?
I don't think she should physically leave LA. I didn't think I had to specify that.
This is fucked up.
This is ridiculous. I think we need to stop the show.
You're fired.
We're dismantling the band.
Yeah. We'll be back next week. Okay, that is the episode. Let's get into the discussion questions.
Yeah. So our discussion question for the last episode was basically, to put it concisely, was it a good decision for Diane to have married Mr. Peanutbutter, and are they compatible long term? We pretty much got like the same answers, and I kind of agree, but this is kind of biased because most people that we got feedback from, it seemed kind of like they had seen the whole show already. And like even like not even considering plot wise, but just like knowing the characters like better, because at this point, like Diane and Mr. Peanutbutter only know each other so well, you know, like we know, if we watch the whole show, we know more about how their characters work and more about them than they do about each other right now. So it is unfair to be like, what? No, like that was so stupid. Like, because in that moment, like really, they didn't know. But somebody was saying that, like, even still, like the red flags and her issues with like her feelings with Bojack should have been enough of like a red flag to call it off. But we do have to consider that she was in love, which is like significant, I think.
I'm reading what you've written here.
Yeah, I was just thinking, like, with Diane, like, marrying Mr. Peanutbutter, knowing that those are all these red flags, but, you know, she is in love with him. Like, I think that's something that a lot of people do. And I think that's why it's really important to wait to make those decisions until you have enough life experience to think rationally. Like, I think that, you need to reach a maturity to where you can recognize that you love somebody, but you're not compatible, because that can happen and it's horrible. Like, you can be absolutely head over heels and it's like just not something that can work. It's just not going to work, you know, long term. And being able to have like the self-control to walk away from something like that is not something that I feel like a lot of younger people can do. Although, like, it depends on the person, because like I was thinking, there are obviously like really like young people that could have more life experience and make better decisions than somebody who could be like 25 or the other way around. But and
sometimes just lucky or unlucky, actually. So
so maybe Diane is just like a little, like, maybe she hasn't quite like matured yet.
You're right. She needs to have like a party face. That's what she needs.
Yeah, she's young and she's clearly has like a lot of trauma that she's going through. Maybe she's just like not she's just maybe not ready.
Yeah. She did bring up twice her school traumas in the whole episode, which is interesting because it hadn't really come up before, I don't think. Maybe like once or twice or something.
Maybe Diane just needs to grow up. Maybe that is an issue, because I wasn't even thinking about that. I mean, fair enough, she is super young. Like, it makes sense, but I think at this point that actually may be like a really big factor, is that she's just like
still that bullied girl.
Yeah, she's still figuring her shit out.
Stuffed in a locker.
Yeah.
And made eat a tube of lipstick.
That would be horrible.
Yeah. Well, what if it was like nicely flavored?
I don't think they're usually like cherry chapstick. Lipsticks.
Well, mine tastes like chocolate.
I was thinking like lipstick or
yes. Yeah.
Like I feel like if you like have like the full chunk that delicious. You will not be able to taste that.
No, it means like it's like eating wax. Like it's
How
so
many
thick.
Calories do you think are in one stick of lipstick?
That is fascinating. I'm sure that someone has done the science of it. It'd be expensive too. You know.
I suppose depends. Yeah.
Well, I need to. Yeah, now this is making me want to bite into my tube of lipstick, and if I start, I will not stop. So
that's fair. Yeah, the impulsive thoughts have won.
All right, what is our new discussion question for this week?
So our new discussion question is, what led Diane to leak those chapters, and was all this an okay thing for her to do? I'm also curious what people think Bojack's main source, like what the source behind his instant rejection was. Yeah, just like discussing that last scene and like how we think they're feeling and why they're really doing what they're doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'd be interested in finding, like, I think of some hypotheticals, because it's like Bojack does not want to publish this book, and it's clear to Diane that it's like a very, like she's very, very proud of it. She thinks it will do well, and like, I don't know, that sort of mess of like, I feel like consent is really, really important, but also,
yeah,
I mean, it's also like a business thing, and also there are lives on the line. Just saying.
Oh yes.
yeah.
I think they both need to just like they're both immature. They need to fucking like have a real conversation about it and like be open to each other's feelings, and they're kind of not. So yeah.
Okay, that is all we have for this episode. Sebastian, how can people reach us if they want to tell us something?
You can shoot us an email at halfwaydowncast@gmail.com, or you can visit our Twitter at VHDcast.
You can also go and answer the discussion question on the Reddit thread, which is posted in the Bojack Horseman subreddit.
Yes, please do that.
We do tweet it out, so if you need to find that, or we link it on the Discord as well, where there's some really wonderful discussion. Sometimes not even related to the show, but it's like, I don't know, really, really interesting. So that's really, really cool. We do a lot of other things here at Doof Media, so consider checking out some of the other shows on the network, or maybe throwing a couple bucks into our... Sorry, I just have to be saying that way.
Please give us money, please.
Spare
one shilling, please.
The workhouses work us to the bone. It's so cold. We were
the Doof Media sweatshop has got us just. I haven't eaten in weeks.
I mean, I do 2 podcasts. I was going to record earlier today. We had to skip an episode of Do the Right Thing because just like the homework is just destroying Jarvis, and you can hear it on the recording if it's one of those weeks. So it does take its toll. So if you want to pay for medical expenses, maybe my antidepressants,
my Adderall, I would love to be covered because I definitely need that to do the show.
Do you think we could comp that? Hey Scott, can you pay for my drugs?
Yes.
All right, Sebastian, what is the animal fact of the week?
The animal fact of the week is that turtles, while only being able to run 3 miles per hour, a 2013 study shows that another factor slowing down their pace is their heavy eating habits. They're just very full turtles. They're just very full.
They're just chonky fellows.
They're just bloated, bro. They're full of toxic slime
and madness. I'm gonna hit stop now. Thank you.
Okay.